And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that break. Hope you enjoyed that moment of reprieve because we have returned with WTL, with World Team League 2023 Winter, with our second match of the night. We just wrapped up with the Platinum Heroes versus Shopify Rebellion, and now we're back with Team BASILISK versus ONSYDE Gaming. This is a rematch, and I feel like the music is too chill. The music is far too chill here for what is happening, for what is going on at the moment, because this is insane. This is some of the best teams of the entire league, of the entire season. This is where it all comes down. Ryung versus Reynor, Solar versus Trigger, Maru versus Serral. Gib. Oh my god. We're going to be ending the night here with Maru versus Serral, which is insane. It's what everyone wants. It's what everyone dreams of. And up first, we have our first matchup here with Reynor and Ryung, and it's going to be difficult to call. Obviously, I favor Reynor. Reynor, he's an amazing player. He's one of the best that Zerg have to offer in the world. But we can never count out the tuna. We can never count out Ryung. Predictions in the chat are open. Predictions are open, and we're diving right on into this in the top right-hand corner. For ONSYDE, we have Ryung. And in the bottom left, we have for Team BASILISK, Reynor. Here we go. Oh boy. ONSYDE versus BASILISK. Again, these were the top two teams of WTL Summer. That's why I mentioned it earlier. My mind was on the last season. It was on the finals of WTL Summer, where in the end, ONSYDE were the champions and Team BASILISK came second place in the end. Of course, thanks to Solar. Solar popped off. Solar, the Serral Slayer, of course, was able to bring Serral to his knees over and over again. But here in the round robin stage, how will things turn out? Bearing in mind that both Reynor and Serral are still competing in ESL Masters Europe. And this is also why we rescheduled. This event was initially planned to take place on Sunday, the same day that ESL Masters Europe finals are going to be taking place, and we don't want to take any chances. There's a big chance that, of course, Reynor, Serral, and Trigger are going to be a part of the finals of their own respective regions. So that is why we have WTL so much more earlier on in the week instead. Of course, a big shout out to all of those sponsors as well, to Taidu, to Oreful, to Honkai Star, and Doyu as well. Thank you. Big shout out to the sponsors. Here we go. Here we go. For now, we have some standard openers here. We're going for a Rax Expand. Ryung going for his Rax a little bit further back instead, actually. Interesting choice. Talking about Ryung as well, as we get into this matchup, he is a bit of a slower player, true, but he has taken down Reynor in the past. He has been able to take it to some of the best Zerg players in the world, just with very solid play, good positioning, good builds, good execution. That is where Ryung comes in strong. Again, not necessarily the fastest player, but you don't need to be fast. You don't need to be quick. You just need to be crisp with your builds at times. And we'll see if Ryung can pull that off. For now, Rax Expand into that factory as well. We don't have a 2-on-1. Reynor, meanwhile, going for a Hatch Gas pull towards his third base as well. Some pretty standard openers, all things considered. Nothing too out of the norm yet in this ZVT. I don't expect any kind of major deviations in the early game. It's about the mid game where we keep our eyes open. And oh my god, another thing to bear in mind, I'm not saying we're going to see that here, but mech is a big option for Ryung. He has meched it happen in the past. He's looking to do it again, and I'm curious if he does double down with additional factories. For now, a 1-1-1. The Rax does float on over. We're going to be shutting down this Overlord. It is going to be falling here. Reynor's going to be in the dark as to what is going on, and this 1-1-1 is about a bit out of left field. Essentially, Ryung is delaying his third base. He's delaying his third base in favor of aggression. And how aggressive is he planning on being? We have a tech lab on the way. Are we going for an add-on swap, or do we commit to... We should be committing here to Stim. Hellions are on the way. From here, we can go into a Liberator as well. No, that's a tech lab. Interesting. Tech lab is being built here on that starport. No add-on swap because of the lifted racks even. Okay. With this, Hellions are going to be hitting the field. Banshees soon thereafter. I imagine we're not going for something crazy like a Raven opener. And there it is. Cloak Banshees are on the way into a second Rax. This is wild. Okay. This is very aggressive. We're further delaying our base, by the way. Even, like, it was still no third. Still no third CC from Ryung. I'm just a bit caught off guard. Oh, just realized I'm a little bit behind. As we're getting into the rest of our Raxes, yep, that's going to be a third Rax as well. So this is looking like the beginnings of a 2-base all-in. The beginnings of a 2-base all-in. Very committed play here from Ryung. Very aggressive. And yeah, we'll see if Reynor can get a read on what's going on. Because he lost his Overlord, he actually is in the dark. Did throw down a safety Roach Warren, so it's producing Roaches as we speak. That is now a third CC in production. A very delayed third base. So Ryung isn't all in, but his push needs to get damage done. We need to get some, either reset the queen count or get into a mineral line, kill a base even, to make this worthwhile. And here we go, as Reynor still committing to early game Roaches. Lair on the way as well. A little bit of a later Lair timing here from Reynor. Now getting to his Evo chambers. A lot of his gas was spent on Roaches instead. And here we go, the Banshees are hitting the field. Cloak is done. Spores are in position, so these Banshees, they shouldn't get too much economic damage done. But they could go for the Queens instead. As they dive in between the bases. Yeah, at the same time, the Hellions are trying to push in towards the north. Drones are going down, but the Hellions, they get shut down by the Roaches. Roaches were in position, and not the best start here for Ryung. He gets a couple of workers. 3 drones. Good reaction out of Reynor, saving most of his units. Most of his workers. Behind this, Ryung going for another double drop as well, but so far this is still not enough. Full worker kills is nice, but again, we still need more. We could have gotten full worker kills with a 3cc Banshee opener. Instead, 1 Banshee went down. Oh no. Banshee does fall. And Ryung is in some trouble. Reynor, he's joined up to 71. He's got a 4th base finishing up. Double drop going straight for the main. Reynor to see it. A bit of a later reaction. As Queens are on the way. He doesn't have too many Roaches, actually. And we're able to stim on top of it. Oh, the Queen survives! No shot! We don't quite get the Banshee. But the Queen does get transfused, and Reynor holds and deflects the push once again. And now Reynor's getting out of control. We go 1-1 on the way. Roach speed. We're saturating the 4th. Infestation bit in production as well. Reynor's in, again, a pretty good position leading into this. Upgrades for Ryung are delayed. Okay, we've got +1 attack. We don't have +1 armor. Armory is on the way instead, and yeah, I almost kind of, it's hard to say. Part of me feels like maybe from here we can go into an 8 Rax. Speaking of, additional Raxes are on the way, which is nice. I think that's 6 in total. Potentially 8 actually. And this could actually do well here, but I don't think we can get into a longer game. I don't think that's possible. Not anymore. Because Reynor's in full control. He's spreading creep all over the map. Roaches, they keep up. They shut down a drop as well. And Ryung, he is losing map control. We have a Lunker Den on the way. Oh my god. Lunker Den is in production. And yeah, it is 8 Raxes. Okay. I was curious. We have 8 Raxes. We have no additional gases at the 3rd base, no factory either. So why I bring this up? What is an 8 Rax? 8 Rax is a 3-base all-in. 3-base all-in out of Ryung. I feel like this is probably the correct move. I don't see Ryung taking a 4th from here and actually getting it up and running. We'll see though, because those Raxes, they actually have tech labs on them. So this is a little bit different. Oh my god, the fungal! No, not like this. Massive fungal growth here on the army. A big loss already here for Ryung. He's being forced back. Reynor is maxed, by the way. Marines are bleeding out one after the other. Ryung, he has no next step. He has no further tech. It's all or nothing for Ryung. And he's still looking to max out. Meanwhile, Reynor, again, he's taking towards lurkers. Vipers are on the way as well. And here it is. Here comes the push. What is this? 6 tanks? That's a lot of tanks. No, but the fungals, once again, they connect. Oh my god. So many of these Marines do go down. Biles, they even take down some of the medevacs as well. As Ryung is pushing through the center. Banshee gets picked off. Tanks are sieging, but we're running out of momentum here. We're running out of Marines. As Biles do not quite connect. Continuing to push through the center. I mean, this tank count is pretty terrifying. Like, we have 6, soon to be 7 tanks here on the front lines. That's pretty terrifying. That's huge. It's a lot of DPS. Ryung, can he pull this off? Again, he's completely all in with this. There's no turning back. Oh my god, the blinding clouds, the fungals even. No blinding clouds there from those Vipers. Big fungals on the right-hand side. Ryung, he's gaining ground. Liberators are arriving. Tanks slowly leapfrogging forward. The Roach Ravager taking a lot of hits. Without Banelings, it's going to be difficult to engage. The fungal growths have been good, but we need more. 2 lurkers are in production. They just finished up in time. 2 lurkers. Is that enough? We need a scan. And there we have it. Blinding Clouds, they cover the tanks. Liberators, they will siege. Forcing back some of these lurkers. There's now 3 of them. And they are holding the ramp. Again, if it wasn't for these lurkers... Liberator is barely yoinked in time. God, a lot of Marines go down to those mines. Ryung is fighting damage. At the same time, a Roach counterattack looking to pick up some reinforcements. The lurker count is slowly getting higher and higher. Ryung, he ignores the ramp. He ignores the lurkers. Goes straight for the 3rd base. A lot of tank volleys are going off. Ryung, he's pushing through. Again, the only thing keeping Reynor alive here, keeping Ryung at bay, is those lurkers. I guess the Rich counterattack as well. But the base falls. Reynor, he's in a bit of trouble. Here are the drones. They get caught out. Show us the workers. 10, 11. The entire mineral line is going to be falling here. Reynor bleeding out a lot of units. Bleeding out a lot of drones. The bird roach is being so annoying. That's the main, by the way. We don't have a 4th CC. That's the main base floating over as a 4th instead. Ryung in a bit of a desperate move. Do we have a scan? We do not. And it looks like Ryung is backing up. Yeah, he can't reinforce this army. He's stuck at home. And he should leave before he gets swallowed up. Does come across some of those roaches. But again, for the most part, Ryung is racing back home. Reynor, he's going to get there first. Oh, the spines! The lurkers! Show us the lurkers! Oh my god! Oh my god, the spine shots, they go off! Reynor, he was not expecting the lurkers to be in position, and Reynor catches him. Ryung losing a massive chunk of his army. Not like this. Roaches, they hit the 3rd base, and Reynor is snowballing out of control. And he has the higher tech. He's got the Vipers, got the Lunkers as well. Bio Army doing what it can. Good split. Able to shut down lurkers here towards the north. But towards the south, we dive on top of the CC. That's the main, by the way. Liberators are going down. The CC taking a lot of hits. Barely on fire, barely saved as well. But Reynor still has an economy. And again, I'll be honest, if Reynor didn't have those lurkers when he did, those first 2 and then 3 lurkers, he would be dead. Ryung would have broken through with his 8 racks. I'm so impressed and so surprised with how much damage and how much momentum Ryung had with his all-in despite such a rough start. Really impressive stuff. He was almost able to kill Reynor then and there, but Reynor survived with those 3 lurkers, barely made it out. And with that, he's now in a commanding position. He's all over Ryung. Now, what I will say is that that doesn't bode well for game 2. Because Ryung, despite having a really rough start, did almost win, which is crazy. So I'm curious what will happen here in this second game, as we are going to be diving on forward here. Reynor, massive fungal in the army, blinding clouds as well. Getting on top of these tanks. They're falling one after the other. Third base is being shut down. And Ryung is plummeting in the supply. He barely has an economy. 10 SCVs go down. He cannot sustain this. Cannot sustain these losses. As we're going for a Hail Mary play, we're just sending whatever we can across the map. We're going to catch a fringe base. A hatchery is going to fall, which is nice. But the main army of Reynor can't really be stopped. As we're waiting for reinforcements, another wave of Lings. And yeah, you can see that, I mean, throughout this entire game, Reynor has had the economic advantage. There were a couple of moments where he dropped in workers, that's true. But for the most part, he was able to keep up. 50 supply, pushing towards that triangle, that 4th base. Big blinding clouds on the tanks. Infestors, they barely do make it through, getting some fungals. GG gets called, and Reynor will take game number 1. Was close though at times. That was not the easiest game, despite a really powerful start. It was a very strong start from Reynor, but that 8 racks did almost kill him, which is terrifying. And with that, Ryung is going to be his map of choice. So Shopify, Basilisk, they do start with a bit of a win here. Reynor does take a lead in the series, but Ryung has a chance to bring it all back in map number 2. And I'm curious where we do go, actually. I'm feeling Oceanborn. I'm feeling Oceanborn. Not too sure how I feel about Golden Ore in this matchup. Hard Lead is another good option, but there it is. Oceanborn is coming up next. It makes sense. We've seen a lot of Zerg players struggle against Terran on Oceanborn. Specifically the 4th base. We've seen Zerg players very much so struggle to establish their 4th bases here. Let alone a 5th or a 6th, just constantly being just torn apart here by drop play and by these pushes. So yeah, Ryung looking to take advantage of his own strengths here on Oceanborn. Here we go. We are on the way. This broadcast is now intended for certain audiences. Yeah, it's intended for Jadolf. Ay. I'm sure Asher is enjoying this as well. Here we go. We are getting ready here for that second game. Again, Oceanborn makes plenty of sense, especially if you want to be a very active player. This should lead into bio play. I said it before that Ryung, he is more than willing to play mech in this matchup, but on a map like Oceanborn, I don't think that's the best map for mech. So we should be going for a more bio-heavy composition. And here we go. In the top left, we have on Oceanborn for ONSYDE Gaming, Ryung. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a Team Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. And Ryung is going for a low ground Rax. Okay, gonna be yeah, this makes any sense. Gonna be spicing things up. We have seen a lot of players snowball out of control with early game Reaper aggression. I'm curious if this is going to be a 2-Rax opener or a Rax factory opener instead. Are we going for the Beyond variation, or are we going for... Oh my god, or are we going for something else? As Reynor is going for a gas first. He's going for a gas pool. He's crazy. Okay. So I was talking about how Zerg players, historically, they've struggled to get into the mid game and get into the late game on this map on Oceanborn. So ignore the mid game, ignore the late game. We're going for a gas first. This should be for a Roach Rush from Reynor. We can go one of two ways. We can either get into really fast link speed, or we can get into really fast roaches, or even both at times. So I'm very curious to see how aggressive Reynor plans on being and what he does with his resources. 2 links are on the way. Reynor, of course, banking up that gas. Focusing on his queen production as well. And there is link speed on the way. Now, the question becomes, have we pulled out of gas? It looks like we have. Okay, so only link speed. We are not going into roaches. This is an interesting choice here. Reynor does see the wall on the low ground. Oh, no, sorry. He doesn't actually see the wall. If he did, roaches would not be a bad choice here to take control of the ramp and take control of the low ground, especially with a Rax factory opener. So I feel like there was a bit of maybe a missed opportunity. As with this faster link speed, Reynor will be having... He can actually go for a link flood, but against a wall, a link flood is less than ideal. Against a wall on the low ground. So Reynor, he was maybe anticipating 2-Rax Reaper on this map, and fast link speed would have shut it down. We have 8 more links on the way. Ryung going straight for a 3rd CC. And Ryung, of course, he did scout, and he did see the hatchery was late. The hatchery was delayed, so he's aware of either a pool first or a gas first. Despite that, Ryung being very greedy. And yeah, I would say that at the moment, Ryung's ahead. He is ahead at the moment. For Reynor to rush into, to delay his expansion, delay his workers, to invest into all these links, he needs to get damage done, and I just don't know if he will. The wall is a wall, and yeah, these things are just going to have a hard time finding damage. They can maybe get add-ons. They could actually get on top of the Cyclones as well, depending on where they pop out. And there we go, the links, they have arrived. They get on top of the Tech Lab. Yeah, Hellions are racing back home. Tech Lab is going to fall. That will delay Stim. A pretty big pickup. Delaying Stim is huge. So not too bad here from Reynor. Not bad at all. Doesn't make up for his delayed worker production. You can see that he's still down in economy. Ryung still has a lead. Overlord is going to fall. And Reynor makes another wave of lings. I don't see any more droning, which is a little bit concerning. I mean, Reynor is supply block, to be fair. More lings are going down, and we're not droning. Reynor, he's all in. He's... Okay, we're good. We're now droning at this point, but these are late workers from Reynor, I'll be honest. Again, his economy is very shaky this game. He invested so much into these links. He's hoping to maybe surround this army. Okay, he's coming in from behind. We're going for reinforcements, and these Cyclones, there's no way out. The surround is real. Reynor, he catches the army. This is a massive pickoff. Better than he could have hoped for. Gets every single Hellion, every single Cyclone. Ryung loses map control. Now he has to race back home. And can he finish Stim? Or is he going to be denied for a second time? And it looks like the Hellions, they just don't have enough DPS. 2 more Hellions pop out, but that is going to be another cancel on Stim. That's the second time that Tech Lab has gone down. Ay. And that means that Ryung is stuck at home. He can harass with Hellions, don't get me wrong, but the bio push and the drop play is so heavily delayed. And Reynor's recovering. He is recovering. Again, his droning has been very lackluster. Very lackluster droning here from Reynor. But he's catching up. He is catching up. Fourth base is on the way. Lair as well. Ryung, of course, getting into his bio army. Going to be getting into a 1-1 stim timing eventually. Hellions are still being active, but we don't want to throw them away. These Hellions are the only thing keeping the Lings at home. And even then, Reynor is pushing out. Going for a run by, going for a counterattack. And yeah, from here, we're just going to be settling into the mid-game. Because Stim has been so heavily delayed, Reynor, he's getting his fourth, slowly but surely. It's on the way. He does take the center fourth base, which is a little bit more exposed. It's very exposed, actually. We'll see if he can hold on to it. This creep is spreading. Hellions trying to deny whatever creep tumors they can. 2-2 is on the way. Stim just now finishing. We got a couple more tumors, but we have plenty of queens to respread that creep. 1-1 just now starting. Reynor, his upgrades are delayed. That's also because his economy was delayed, so there's a reason for that. He just hasn't had the best economy so far, but just now getting up to 80 workers. And Ryung is soon to hit the field. The question becomes, because of how delayed this is this another 8 racks? We have 3 more racks on the way. I think this is 8 racks in total. I could be mistaken. I'd have to get another glimpse of the main base. We do force a cancel on the 5th base. Cancel, not a kill. Draw play finally underway here for Ryung. He's building up his forces back at home. There is no second factory. There is no additional gas geysers or a 4th base. This is looking very similar to the last game when it comes to the setup of Ryung. Oh, he wanted that 5th, doesn't get it. And Reynor's working towards his infestation pits. Now, unlike the previous game, I think it's going to take a little bit more here for Reynor to really get into infestors and into the rest of his army. Yep, there we go. 8 racks is... The observer is confirming. He knows. He knows the power of the 8 racks. Just like the last game, Ryung is going for a 3-base all-in. Now, I want to say that Ryung is in a better position this time. You can see he's up in supply. Reynor has had a really hard time getting into this economically this game. Like, through his own devices, to be fair. Like, Reynor, with his opener, did set himself behind. And here we go. Here comes Ryung. Maxed out with an overwhelming army. There is a little Lingbane waiting for him. The mines are getting in position. Very aggressive mine positioning here. Lingbane trying to come in from the right-hand side. And a massive bailing run by 17 SCVs go down. Ryung taking some massive hits to the mines. Oof. Bailings, they go off. Ryung still standing strong, though, still with plenty of Marines. Trying to break through, but I think we have too many Bailings. I say that the spread is looking pretty damn good, and Ryung, his rally does not stop. Good target firing on so many of these Bailings. 4 of them will complete, but Ryung, he breaks through. Yeah, he's broken the army. He's gotten on top of the tech, broken through the natural base as well. Reynor had an infestation, but he wasn't able to make use of it. Good Bailing connections, but the rally doesn't stop. It's an A-Rex. GG gets called, and Ryung takes game number 2, tying it up 1-1. GG. GG, well played. And yeah, this is kind of what I was concerned about here, is that Ryung was building up towards a 3-base all-in. Reynor set himself behind the economy, and in general, just Reynor was really against droning, delaying droning for so long this game, staying on a very low worker count, making a lot of lings. At times it was kind of worth it, but it did mean that he fell behind in the overall production as well. Ryung, he was up 20-30 supply when he pushed out, which was crazy. That typically doesn't happen in this matchup. And yeah, Reynor was just not ready for it, not like the previous game. And even the previous game, he barely held on as well. GG, well played. Ryung proving to us that he can keep up with some of the best Zerg players in the world. Reynor, he's like top 3 or top 4 Zerg alongside Dark and Serral and Solar. And hey, Ryung, he can take it to the best of them. GG. With that, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, Solar versus Trigger. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. We just wrapped up with Ryung versus Reynor. We are tied up 1-1 here in this best of 7 team league match, and we are here to determine who takes a lead in this series as we're getting ready for Solar versus Trigger in a ZVP best of 2. Let us go. Against Solar coming in hot, becoming our most recent GSL champion, and Trigger, still an up-and-comer, still one of the best Protoss players in all of Europe. Can he take it to him? Can he fight back? Can he cause the upset? As in the top right-hand corner, we have, for ONSYDE, Solar. That's a big mushroom. And in the bottom left, we have, for Team BASILISK, it is Trigger. He does not have a mushroom. Aye, aye, aye. Beautiful, Ivy, beautiful. I like to believe that, look, I'll be honest, that mushroom is new. That mushroom was not here last time. I like to think that he treated himself. Oh my, we're going for the gold. After he won his GSL championship, he did treat himself, did get himself a nice big mushroom to cuddle. And upon mining through those mineral patches, Solar is looking to have some fun. He is rushing into the gold. Let's go. And again, you don't take this goal base unless you plan on being hyper aggressive with it as well. So Solar not pulling back, not holding back here against Trigger, not at all. Trigger, he's looking for that natural base. He's hoping to force the unnatural natural. He checks the linear. He's going back into the main. He's trying to get a read. Is this a fast spawning pool? Is this a fast gas geyser? He will see that it isn't. The production buildings were just now thrown down. So Trigger now knows that something is wrong. A hatchery has to be taken somewhere, and he should now check the gold. As he goes to the triangular third base location, sees that nothing is there, and he should now check the... Yeah, there we go. He does see that mineral patches have been mined out and that the gold has been taken. So it took a little bit of time, but Trigger does at least come across this. And the question becomes, can he punish it? Can he deny it? For now, a gate expand into a cyber core, standard opener out of Trigger. Soul's going to be mainarding some workers over. Now, you could argue that the space is very exposed, and you're not wrong, it is exposed, but these rocks should be knocked down soon. The rocks, they should be knocked down. I love this from Trigger. I think he's just, again, revealing that he knows what's going on, is aware. Adepts are on the way, looking to take control of this area. And the goal here for Solar should be to knock down those rocks. We need to knock them down with these lings to make sure we actually have a way to defend that the other side of that wall. And the rocks are being knocked down as we speak. Behind this is going to be a Stargate opener. So this is a very similar tale to Game 2 of Scarlet versus Goblin earlier today, where Scarlet took the gold, and Goblin had to be the one to try to punish it, and he was unsuccessful. We'll see if Trigger can do a little bit more. Now, if you remember, what Goblin was able to do was not punish the gold, but actually punish the third base and get an insane amount of economic damage done at the third. That was in a longer game, though. That was as he was defending against Scarlet's all-in. We'll see if Solar is going to plan on going for a similar strategy here. Again, typically, if you take the gold bases early on, like it is for an all-in, it's to be hyper-aggressive. As it is kicking in. Second gateway is on the way just to wall off. Again, Stargate opener into an Oracle. Trigger looking to try to harass and get some damage done. And for now, Trigger, he's just taking a third. Okay, he doesn't double down on aggression. He's just going to be taking a third base. The Oracle gets across the map. We're looking for some damage. We're trying to camp the third base as well. But there's nothing to kill. Nothing to go after. We get a drone. We get one. I could get two. Up. We do not get the second worker. As the Oracle does manage to... the Queens, they arrive in time. We morph in the Spore. Save that worker in the end. And there it is. Roach Warren is now on the way. This is a 4-minute 30-ish Roach Warren timing. Pretty standard. Solar, he is just playing normally here. He's just taking an economic lead, and he's not rushing into hyper-aggression. Behind this, +1. Twilight Council's on the way. Gateway Explosion as well. We're just easing ourselves into the mid-game. Of course, with Solar having an economic lead. I guess you could argue that this Roach Warren is a little bit earlier than normal. The standard Roach Warren timing here would be a 5-minute, at the 5-minute mark, and the Roach Warren is already done at this point. Lair is on the way. I'm curious what we're going to be spending our resources on, Oracles. They do threaten the goal base. We do pull back in time. Oh my god. Oracle taking a lot of hits, only getting 2 workers. They're still in production. And yeah, Solar is just droning. Just saturating his bases. Lings are looking to push out across the map as well. They don't get much done. Don't find much damage here as we're just settling towards that mid-game. Roach Speed on the way, so it's going to be Roach Ravager here as the composition of choice. We have +1 range, not +1 melee, so again, this shouldn't be Ling Bane Roach Ravager, just Roaches and Ravager straight up here from Solar instead. Waiting for his gases to kick in. Solar behind this, building up his Archon count. Oh god, no! The Oracle is taking a lot of damage, both of them deep in the red. They do back off in time. And from here, we're just, yeah, kind of settling into this. When it comes to the army composition of Trigger, I'm not too sure if I'm fond of it. So he's going for Blink Stalkers with Archons and Storm to support, which would be good against Ling Bane, but against Roach Ravager, less so. This is where instead of Storm and Archons, we need Immortals, a Robo, and even Disruptors. So I do think that Trigger's army is good in the mid game, but not amazing against what Solar has specifically. We have seen Storm just tickle Roaches, and the Storm can do well. We just need a lot of them if we want to really go toe-to-toe with the Roach army. And here we go. Solar's pushing. Takes a big stasis trap to the face, but he doesn't care. It doesn't matter. He just keeps on going across the map. +1 range on the way. Solar, he's up 60 supply here to his opponent. He's on 3 base saturation, 67 workers. Ravagers are on the way, and we're doubling down. Solar is not droning. He's cutting workers at 3 base saturation and just going all in. And what does Trigger have? Again, this is going to be hitting sub 8 minutes. Storm is going to finish in time. But is Storm going to be enough? We'll still need 3 more seconds. Storm is done. Storm is done. We zone away some of the Lings, but we push into the natural. Lings are flooding on in. The Roach Ravager keeps the army busy, while the Lings, they wreak havoc in the natural. Storms are connecting, but no, we get on top of the High Templar. The High Templar are going down. Files connect. Shutting down the shield battery, overcharge is popped, and it does run out, and it looks like Solar has too much. He's maxed at this point, up 100 supply. He has broken the third. He's broken the natural. Again, the gold base was not punished. Trigger tried, but instead opted to go for a macro game here against a player who just got his gold so quickly as his natural. And this is the result. This is the outcome of what happens if you just let a Zerg player do whatever they want. And there just is not much left. As we bust in, the Cybercore went down. We can only warp in Zealous to defend. Charge is done. Charge is completed, but GG gets called. It's just too much, and Solar will take game number 1. GG. A solid game there out of Solar. Again, a cheeky start to get into that goal base, but it didn't go punished. Not without trying. Trigger, he was being very active with his Oracles. His Oracles were attempting to harass and attempting to get worker kills, but Solar was keeping up time and time again. Instead, Trigger tried to turtle on 4 bases and tried to rush into Storm. But as we mentioned, specifically against a 3 base kind of Roach Ravager all-in, Storm is not ideal. And Solar was able to snowball out of control with the assistance of the gold, of course. With the assistance of that gold base, and with that, that is game 1 in the books here for Solar. Game 2, Trigger is map of choice, makes plenty of sense. We're loading in to Radisson Station. In that last game, Trigger, he was trying to stabilize, he was trying to get into the mid game or into a late game. And Trigger, he was getting there, but you know, he wasn't quite able to make it in the end. Radisson Station is going to be much easier to actually survive and get into that late game or get into the mid game in a decent position. We'll see if he can pull it off. Here we go. Again, this map is just it's so difficult for a Zerg player to punish a Protoss getting up to 4 bases. Or getting up to 3, even 4 bases as well. We could even see Trigger rush into Skytoss. We saw Goblin on this map earlier incorporate Skytoss, but didn't commit completely to it. Was more focused on a ground composition with a couple of carriers to support instead. We'll see if Trigger follows suit or if he has another idea for this map instead. We'll see. We'll see how Trigger does approach this. Again, this is the power of loser's pick here. You know, there are no vetoes. You can go for whatever map you want. And yeah, this is very conducive to the playstyle of Trigger. He isn't typically the most aggressive player. He wants to just settle into a better, longer game. And I'm ready for it. I am ready for it. Likewise, and I'm focusing a lot on what Trigger can do on this map. I'm curious as to what Solar does. I'm sure he's also aware of the advantages of Radisson Station, the power of this map, and I wonder if we have an all-in plant. You know, we've been seeing a lot of Nidus play, a lot of Drop-A-Lord play, a lot of all-ins from the side of the Zergs. Do we do that again? We're here to find out. As spawning in the top right-hand corner for Team ONSYDE, it is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have for Team Basilisk, it is Trigger. Here we go. Again, my eyes are on, I guess, both players to see how they approach this and what they bring to the table. So far, we're going for an interesting start, actually. Huh. Hello, Trigger. So Solo's going for a hatch first. Trigger, he goes for a gateway on the high ground, actually. I was not expecting this. So going for a high ground gateway into eventually the expansion on the low ground. We've seen a lot of Protoss players start their wall on the low ground instead, just to be as economic and greedy as possible. But we're seeing something very different here out of Trigger. My eyes are on this probe. We have taken a second gas geyser. Are we going for a proxy? Probe has been spotted, by the way. The Overlord did catch wind. We go for a cannon! The Forge! Let's go. Again, like, I was very perplexed by the gateway positioning, but it should have been a red flag. It should have been, I should have recognized that this is very intentional. And Trigger, he's setting up for what looks to be proxy Stargate, right? This has to be proxy Stargate. We have the Forge to defend back at home with cannons and even support this with cannons, but I'm curious. There's the first cannon thrown down. Cybercore is about to finish the cannon. The purpose of this is not to, is obviously just protect the proxy. And there it is. Stargate is thrown down. Proxy Stargate is upon us. Void Razor on the way. Let's go. I like this from Trigger, especially because it is very common for Zerg players to be hyper greedy. And there we go. We're going for a third. Solar, he is mining through those middle patches, working on his third base. Overlord is getting across the map though, and Solar, I believe, is catching wind of the fact that something is wrong. He's scouting. He's checking. He finds it. He does find the proxy. He's aware of the Stargate play. Queens are on the way. Overlord also confirms that we're on one base economy. We're all in. Proxy Tempest. Oh my god. Okay, let's go. You know, part of me was thinking Proxy Tempest, but I was like, it's gonna take too long, right? It's gonna take far too long. And it is gonna take a while. No Void Rays initially. We're just biding our time. Solar's building up his queen counts. I believe he may not have seen the Twilight Council yet. Sorry, the Fleet Beacon yet. But where's Roddy at? I'm sure Roddy's loving this. He's always casting his boys. Always casting his team. And we'll see if Trigger can pull this off. Spores are in production. Lings still have not caught wind of the Fleet Beacon. First Tempest is in production. First Tempest is on the way. There we go. We now have eyes on this. We now know the Lings, they do spot the Fleet Beacon. And how do we respond? Well, I mean, we're already working on a lair. This should be for Aspire, for Queens and Corruptors. Now, what's important is that specifically this location is very abusable here by Tempest. They can one-shot drones. Yeah, workers are going down one after the other. This is already a lot of economic damage being dealt. The queens are pushing forward. Taking a lot of hits. And there it is. The Spire is now in production. Now, again, this map specifically, yeah, we have to give up the natural. We have to give it up. This one Tempest is just wreaking havoc. We go for the proxy, the Ninja Base, the gold. The Proxy Nexus. Let's go. And this is huge. This is getting out of hand. Again, Solar is stuck on one base economy. Just because of the cliff face, because of how exposed this mineral line is. Zero mining at the natural. We need to buy time here for that Spire. Drones are going down. Looks like Trigger, he has caught wind of the fact that we have taken another base. Spore will fall. Oh, drones. More of them are going down. Brutal losses here for Solar. Losing another drone. His economy is barely holding on. We are getting up to 3 Tempest. Spire is done. The Spire has completed. These Tempests are looking a little bit exposed. And here we go. Corruptors are now on the way. The Lings do spot the Nexus. One Queen goes down. Big pick off. And there it is. Now we have 3 Tempests hitting the field. Spores are getting in position. Drones once again caught out. Corruptors have arrived. Oh my god, we're getting even more workers. Solar's economy is in shambles. And he has to go for a longer game. Like, he has to try to stabilize. Yeah, these gases are ambitious. 4 Tempests now out. Natural base taking a lot of hits. We're diving in. We're diving on the Tempest. And alas, with the shield battery, with the overcharge as well, we cannot break this. Again, because of the Nexus, we have an overcharge available to support this proxy. And this hatchery should go down. Now, thankfully, Solar has another base up and running. Oh, we're diving in. Oh. Yeah, we forced the overcharge. Void Razor on the way to support. Second Stargate as well. And that hatchery does fall. And Trigger, his economy is getting out of hand. Saturating the gold base. It doesn't have too much mining going on here, so it's not the best economy here. Solar still ahead. Solar still has a lead. And he hasn't been throwing away Corruptors. That's what's important. He's been maintaining his Corruptor count. Natural base up and running. +1 air attack on the way. We're going for a bit of a gateway explosion. We're going for some ground toss. Again, only 3 workers. There's the recall. I was waiting for it. But Trigger now can saturate this gold base. He can take full advantage of it. And behind this Solar, he's still just banking up the Corruptors. He's diving on the Tempest. Did he get one? I think he may have... I don't think he quite got one yet. Was close, though. The Observer really wants to look at these probes, though. I mean, because of the cannon locations, we have some inefficient mining going on. But here we go, the Corruptors. They dive on in. They threaten that Fleet Beacon. Solar doesn't want to overextend. He's taking another base. Up to 16 Corruptors. He's hoping his opponent overextends, but so far, patient play out of Trigger. Getting his natural base up and running. Observer really wants to look at those spazzing out probes, though. There it is. Templar Archives on the way. Should be for Storm. Storm and Archons. Chargel Archon against a Ling ground army is going to be huge. There it is. Roach Warrens on the way. We need those roaches. We have plenty of corruptors. Maybe too many, actually. As they're looking for a way in. Oh, they go straight for the Templar Archives. Big pickup. Forcing the overcharge, and Templar Archives does go down. No more High Templar. No more Archons. This natural base looking exposed. Solar coming in with reinforcements. Yeah, Void Ray is going to go down, and so the Tempest as well. This does feel like an overextension from Trigger. Losing 2 Tempests. And a Void Ray as well. Yeah, we just dive in. We don't care anymore. We get every single Tempest. And these Corruptors, they are a little bit of dead supply, but we can try to go for some more buildings. We could even go for the Nexus, as there is very limited anti-air. Yeah, additional Archons are on the way. I do like the idea of going for the Nexus itself. That would be huge. As the Corruptors do double back. And here we go. The push is upon us. This is going to be a tight hold for Solar. Roach speed not done, but he does have plenty of roaches. Going to be kiting back, just trying to buy as much time as possible. As, yeah, we do snipe the Nexus. Trigger is stuck on one base. Is all in. He does get into the mineral line. He's getting a lot of drones. Oh my god. The Archon volleys. But there are too many roaches, and it looks like Solar, he's getting out of control. He's getting out of hand. Yeah, Trigger, he's just running out of steam at this point. Less than 1 base mining. Did kill a lot of workers. But no, sure, we're going to kill the final Nexus. And Trigger, he doesn't have the money to afford another. He's broke. He doesn't have the minerals for another base. And what you see is what you get. The boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing. All or nothing for Trigger. As the probes have arrived, there are just so many roaches. He's being revealed. Again, it was a good start, but GG gets called, and Solar will take the 2-0, taking down a Trigger. Ooh, GG. That was a wild game. That was a wild game. It was a good start for Trigger. It was a very good start going for the Proxy Tempest and getting into the goal base. I do think it took too long, though. As in, the Tempest were fine. I do think it took too long to get the goal base mining. Remember, it took minutes even to actually get some proper saturation going on there, and because of that, Solar was able to keep up and actually have an economic lead. Despite losing control of his natural, he just took a 3rd base, he main-arted over, and he was able to maintain himself. It did feel like the goal took a little bit, just took too long to really get online and really take advantage of, and yeah, over time, Trigger was just overcome and overwhelmed, and with that, ONSYDE leading the series 3-1. We're going to be going on a short break. Up next, Maru versus Serral. Let's go. See you then. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. And oh, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what we've all been waiting for. The two highest rated players here in WTL, and they're facing off in game one on Radisson Station. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have for Team ONSYDE, Maru. And spawning in the bottom left, we have for Team Basilisk, Serral. Let's go. We also have confirmation as well. I wanted to see the ELOs back-to-back, and Maru has been looking dominant here this season. He is the highest-rated player in WTL. Serral has been dropping ELO because he has been dropping maps. He has been dropping maps here in World Team League. And now we get the famed Maru versus Serral, the best Zerg and best Terran in the world. Now, I know that's under contention. I know that Cure has been popping off in Korea. I know that Clem has been doing well for himself over in Europe as well. And Maru did have a lackluster GSL run this season, which is why a lot of people are sleeping on Maru. A lot of people have been praising other players and being like, yo, is Clem the best Terran player in the world? Is Cure the best Terran player in the world? And I can understand the reasoning for some of those claims, but really I feel like you're not really doing Maru justice here. Sure, he was knocked out early in GSL, but I mean, again, if you looked at those games, a lot of it did come down to his decision-making, not necessarily his skill. He is still a terrifying player, and he's been proving that and showing that off in WTL. He is terrifying. And on a map like Radisson Station, I am worried for Serral. I am concerned. Now, typically, we talk about advantages for Protoss on this map, and I can say the same about the advantages for Terran as well. Terran players, they can get up to 2, 3, 4 bases without too much issue. Ling Bane run-bys and counterattacks aren't really possible here on this map. Maru should be able to keep up with it. Now, there is potential for drop play, but even then, it is difficult to pull off. The last time we saw Serral on this map in a ZVT was Serral versus Cure. This was at, maybe the first 2 weeks of the patch. We did cast Serral versus Cure in the South Shuai Cup, if you recall. South Shuai Cup, which was Korea versus the world, where Cure actually took Serral to the ace match. They went all the way to game 5, and Cure beat Serral on this map as well. If you recall, again, it was a couple of weeks ago. If you recall, Serral did go for Mutas. He went for a Spire play and went Mutas here against Cure. Didn't quite find too much success with it. So I'm curious how he approaches his opponent here. As Maru does go for a Marine first, does go for a Racked Expand into a Factory as well, because the Overlord is going to be sneaking behind this. And before the Starport, we do have a 3cc build here from Maru. Very economic build. Not cutting too many corners. The greediest thing about this build from Maru is the fact that he did throw down his 3rd CC on location, which typically is unheard of. You would never see a Terran player take their 3rd on location, except for Radisson Station. Because of that pocket base, very safe, very secure, Maru can get away with it. Meanwhile, again, you could make an argument that maybe Muta play could be successful here. The last time we saw Serral on this map didn't work, so I expect Ling Bane Hydra instead, or maybe Ling Bane into Ultras, into Hive Tech. I'm curious if Serral does try to go the Muta route again. Until then, that is a Viking first. A Viking first out of Maru is going to be looking to find and shut down those Overlords, keep Serral in the dark. As we can see, it's going to be Bio. We have Stim on the way. A bit of a faster Stim because we don't have an add-on swap, so no Banshees. Just Stim instead. A much more aggressive style here out of Maru. He's pushing out with his with his Hellions. Clearing up some creep. I love this out of Serral. He's mining through those minerals. We've seen this before. Serral, it looks like he wants access to the gold. I'm not saying his gold should be his 4th, but his gold may be his 5th. So you do love to see it. This also does launch creep out onto Maru's side of the map that much faster as well. Overlord is going to go down. Does confirm the 1-1-1. And it's going to be Viking into Liberator. Let's go. Serral, meanwhile, is getting his lair on time. This is around a 4-minute 30 lair timing. We're just focusing on droning, making queens, getting a couple of spores. The Viking looking for another Overlord, and it looks like it will get an Overlord. The queens are busy with the Hellions. Good pick up here from Maru. Supply blocking Serral for a moment, but only for a moment. As Serral is taking the rest of his gases, again being quite greedy himself, droning up heavily here. And yeah, it's just a lair into a Bailey nest. Very safe and secure play out of Maru. We've been seeing a lot of this from Maru. Even when he knows that his opponent is going for a 3cc build, he still doesn't go for double Evo chamber. He goes for a lair into a Bailey nest, into delayed upgrades, just to be safe. Oh, okay, I see. Interesting. So, my mistake. As Liberator is going to be coming in. So, Serral was mining through that mineral patch just for the creep tumor, just so we can actually spread creep over the wall, not to take the goal base as his 5th. I mean, to be fair, he could still take it as a 5th. I'm curious if he will. But the rocks will be kept up, and the wall is still up as well. That tumor just barely reaching the other side of that wall. Barely hopping over. With that, here comes the scouts. Overseer's diving in. Once again, it is going to be Lingbane Muta. Okay. Interesting choice here from Serral. He's going to do it again. And I do see the logic here. I do think there's a lot of potential for Mutas to get damage done, to bounce between the bases. It's going to be on Maru to keep up. As scans are thrown down, and we missed the tech, we missed the Spire. Meanwhile, here comes the sim timing the drop play here of Maru. Goes into the mineral line. Your target firing, gets 3 drones, and gets the hell out of there. Does get out of there in the end. Does get eyes on the creep. Doesn't go into the main. Once again, Evo chambers have been heavily delayed here in favor of Muta production. That is 11 Mutas on the way. We're looking for map control. We're looking to shut down this drop play of Maru. Behind this, Maru is working on a 4cc on location. He's pushing with Hellbats. The Hellions did survive the early game, so we have a couple of Hellbats to support. With Mutas on the way, though, we should shut this down. Again, this center location is just so wide open. Scan misses the Mutas. Hasn't been seen. Liberator does siege up in the pocket base. Drones are going down, and we dive straight onto that hatchery. Damage is being done, but bearing in mind that Mutas are making a beeline for the pocket base of Maru, and Maru doesn't know. God, the drop play continues. The Mutas, they haven't pulled the trigger. That base is so exposed. We can get so much damage done, but the drop goes into the pocket base as well. Serral now goes in. Workers are going to be falling for both players. The queens are exposed. Every worker is going to be going down. Oh my god, the entire mineral line for Maru. 17 SCVs, the picture-in-picture. Reinforcements come in, but that is an insane amount of damage. 19, basically 20 workers plus these Mutas. They may just win Serral the game here and now as they get 24 SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. Completely crippling the economy. Maru, he was keeping up, if not ahead economically, up until now. Maru was doing so well for himself, but he missed the Spire, he missed the Mutas. He was caught completely by surprise. And now Maru, he's on the back foot. And he may just have to turtle. I love it when Maru is being active when he's going for this drop play, but alas, oh my god, he catches a lot of Mutas. Does catch a lot of Mutas in the end. But he lost so much momentum. He lost a lot of steam, and now Serral's about to max out. Serral, he's about to max at this point, redroning. Still doesn't have a 5th base, so Maru is pushing. And I appreciate that Maru, he's not turtling up back at home. He's still going for drop play. Getting into that mineral line. There are plenty of links in position, though. Oh my god. The mine positioning. Good retargeting. Doesn't get much done. Only 3 drones. And Maru pulls back. Yeah, more turrets are on the way. These Mutas are giving Serral map control. And yeah, that's more turrets as well. Again, upon losing all those SCVs, Maru is stuck at home and he's just resaturating his bases. He's giving Serral the opportunity to max out, get up to 2-2. Infestation Beast on the way for 3-3. And Maru has to try to keep up with the Muta Harass. A good mind shot. Doors are on the way, but yeah, for the most part, Maru, he has to just stay back at home. Until he himself maxes out. There we go. You can see that Maru just doesn't want to not be active. Is going for another drop towards the south. Not the most committed drop. I think it may just be another mine. A mine drop instead. Because we have a lot of Widow Mines available. Thors are on the way as well. There we go. It is that mine drop. 3-3 on the way. Serral is working on the hive. He's spreading creep all over the map. Again, he has map control and he has so much freedom. There is Lingbane in position. Maru scans. Oh, the mines! Oh my god! Big mine shots going off in the mineral line and on the Lingbane as well. Maru, his scan also reveals the timing of the hive, which means he should be working. Yep, as soon as he saw the hive, Ghost Academy. Ghost Academy's on the way. Getting ready for, I imagine, Ultras. Ultras would make the most sense tech-wise here for Serral. Either that or a Greater Spire. Like, both could work. And there it is. There's the Ultra Cavern on the way. Again, the melee upgrades for Serral do complement that quite well. Maru's already working on those ghosts. Again, Serral's still expanding freely. That's a lot of turrets here from Maru. They hold the line. They hold the pocket base, but the natural's a little bit more exposed. Marines trading as best they can, but they will be cleaned up. Taking a bailing to the face. Swidowmine has been here for a long time. And here comes some Dropper Lords. Let's go. I'm loving the drop play into the pocket base. Because of all these turrets, the likelihood of Maru having anything in position there is very low. He's overly reliant on those turrets. And as Maru pushes towards the south, Serral is getting ready for the drop towards the north. And Maru, the problem is that he isn't really threatening anything. He's just clearing up creep. He isn't really threatening a base. I mean, Hatchery is on the way at the gold, but... And Serral, he's going for the drop. Oh, the friendly fire! Oh, Ghost may have gone down. But here we go. We have the Doom drop into the pocket base. Tars are doing what they can, but the Lings are going to be able to wreak havoc here in the base. In the bases of Maru. Lings, they go straight for the mineral line. Turrets are going down, and we're pulling Maru out of position. 6 SCVs go down. A lot of turrets as well. And if these turrets aren't, rebuilt, then the mutants can come in again. Good scan. There you go. You can see the turrets are on the way. Also 44 Lings from Serral. So far, really good control here out of Serral. Taking down so many of those Widow Mines. Here we go. Maru is pushing. Oh, the Ghost leading the charge. Bold move. But again, we got a lot of ground to cover. A lot of creep to work through. Serral with the mass muta. Threatening that natural. Doesn't get in. Ultras are now in production. Good snipes on the Widow Mines. As we lose Widow Mines, we're replacing them with more Ghosts, more Liberators. Liberators are going to do amazingly against the Mutas and the Ultras as well. As I say that, the Mutas, they dive straight for the main base. A couple of libs are exposed. We get a ghost. And we do bypass the turrets. Not a bad dive out of Serral. Maru's just throwing down more turrets in his bases. Serral has a pretty impressive bank as well. He can remax after a fight. But finally, Maru is pushing. He can threaten some of these bases. We have the medevac upgrade on the way. And Maru is getting set up. It's going to take a while for him to clear up all this creep, but he's going to be pushing towards the gold. So pushing towards the gold. And Fess is getting ready for a fungal from behind, but turrets are being thrown down. Being run by as well. Not the best trade from those banelings. We do. Oh my god, that's an orbital, not a planetary? Maru. Being a little bit too greedy. Lings, they wreak havoc in that base. Nuke is on the way. Okay, planetary going to be able to clean up those lings. The nuke is being thrown down. So far, decent spread here from Maru. The Bailings, they roll in. They do get some connections, but Maru, he does hold. He cleans up the ground army. He can keep on pushing. The Mutas did survive, but I can't say the same for the Ultras or the Ling Bane. As Maru can keep on pushing. Looking to reinforce, sniping a lot of Mutas. Ling Bane is on the way. That's a lot of Banelings. A scary amount of Banelings, actually. A big fungal! And here we go, Serral. He can pull the trigger. He catches the ghosts. The fungal was insane. The ghosts are saved, though. They're barely kept alive. But Maru, he loses this position. At the same time, 7 SCVs go down. Bottom right-hand base was denied. Maybe even killed. I think it's floating. But again, without a planetary, Maru, he just could not hold onto his fringe bases. Just a very greedy maneuver there out of Maru. Now going to be taking the gold instead. This time it is a gold. Sorry, it is a planetary, thankfully. Additional ultras on the way. Maru pushing through. As long as he doesn't get fungled, he should be able to deny this base. Serral collapsing on the army. Gonna be rolling on forward, but into all, oh my god, into all these mines. The mine shots go off. The Ling Bane is gonna get cleaned up once again. And Maru, he does take down the gold, and he takes his own. Doesn't kill too many workers, though. As the Mutas come in, and nothing shoots up. No, we just mule. The planetary is going to barely be repaired. Maru denying another hatchery, but bleeding out a couple too many Marauders. The Mutas, they come back in. And they go straight for the planetary, and Maru, he's being spread thin. And holding onto that base is difficult. He does get 12 workers. Both players hurting in their worker count. And liberation zones are thrown down, and Maru, he's rotating over towards the north instead. Taking down more bases. And he's getting caught unsieged. The fungals once again. Oh my god, how does he find them? The fungals are insane. Serral, he rolls on in, crashes through the army, takes out most of the ghosts. We need to unsiege. To unsiege those liberators, and it looks like we will hold on to the planetary, but that was a hefty loss for Maru. Once again, the fungals have been beautiful here from Serral. 2 times now he's caught those ghosts. He's able to take very efficient fights, and Maru, he's running out of money. He's running out of steam. He needs this gold base to get up and running. Another infestor lying in wait. Of course, Maru still has potential with his force. He does have a more efficient army overall. He just needs some mining, Papi. Just needs a base. Serral is double expanding, taking his gold and this southern base at the same time. These bases have been spotted by Maru. He should be directing his attention towards the south now. Just, again, rotating over, always trying to deny these fringe bases from Serral. His gold is now fully operational. The freedom zones, they've arrived. That's a lot of freedom. We're going to deny at least one of these hatcheries, but we still need to deny the gold as well. Let's see, here we go. We're rotating over towards said gold base. At the same time, a Lingbane counterattack the Balins are going straight for the planetary. We are looking to trade a gold for a gold. Planetary is going to fall. And Maru, he needs to reciprocate. He needs to kill this gold base as well. It looks like he will. And both players going blow for blow. And this time, Maru has a bank. He has bottom right. He's trying to get bottom right. God, it's really hurting him that it's not a planetary here. Like, these aren't really even committed Ling run buys. It's like a handful of Lings here and there, and they always do so much damage to this bottom right base. Part of me believes it may almost be worth just making a new base, a new CC, and floating it there just to make a planetary, instead of throwing down these orbitals. But here we go. Maru with a decent economy, with a decent bank, a comparable bank to Serral. Serral is double expanding once again. Big how does he do it? A massive fungal on the ghost for a third time this game. Every time. Lingbane rolling on in. This is an overextension though. The concave is too good. Lingbane does crumble. Serral though maxed out. A lot of the supply though are in these corruptors. That's a lot of corruptors here from Serral. Ultras are on the way as well. Ultras, Lings, Banelings, Serral getting his gold base up and running again for, what is that, a third or fourth time? Just keep getting that gold. Plus 3 ship weapons on the way as well. Oh my god, massive mine shots! Maru, he's denying another hatchery. We have an infestor getting ready to come in from behind. Getting ready for that fungal. He sees! Ooh, he still takes a fungal to the face. Serral cannot capitalize on it, not this time. Does not get on top of that army. As Serral, he has triple expanded and he is mining from this northern base for the first time this game. And we can see Maru, he's racing over to stop it. Once again, I don't think we have a planetary in the bottom right. And once again, Serral is going for a run by. The fungal! Yeah, there is now a planetary here to support, and we should be okay. Thankfully, there... Oh, no! Planetary not within range. Big fungal on the ghost again for the 5th time. Big connections as well, and it looks like Serral has done it. Maru's taken one too many fungals to the face, and Serral cleans up the army, shuts down the gold. And what is there really left? Maru barely has a bank, barely has an army. God, these Lings finally get cleaned up. Aye. Maru muling heavily here just to try to keep in, just to try to stay in this. but it may just be too much. These trays have been so good for Serral. Denying the gold once again. Against Serral, he can max. Maru cannot. And oh, Serral, he wants the CC. He wants it, Papi. He's gonna get it. Ah, the Corruptors. They caustic spray down the orbital and the planetary as well. Maru has to respond, but he doesn't have anything. Ghosts are coming in, but we have Lingbane. Both bases are going to go down. Big Fungal misses. Finally, we get a miss. Ah. But Serral is running away with this. Again, it was a long back and forth here. Big Mind Shot goes off on the Lings. Big Mind Shots, and yeah, Serral, he's just had momentum throughout the majority of this game. Remember, it all started with the Mutas. The fact that the Mutas went unscouted, they got an entire mineral line, while Maru was going for a tri-pronged attack, and yeah, from that moment, Serral, he had so much control of this game. Lingbane rolling forward once again. No fungals, but we don't need them. Not anymore. As we just take a dominant fight here, rolling over everything that's left. There is no detection. The ghosts will survive, but basically only the ghosts. As Maru, he's holding on at sub 100 supply. We just needed some detection. Overseers are on the way. More bases are being taken here. Muling as hard as we can at the gold, just to mine. But GG is going to get called. There's just too much, and Serral will take game number 1. Team Basilisk, they're fighting back. They are fighting back. Again, Serral needs a 2-0 to force the ace match. Maru needs one game. One game is all he needs to win it all for his team. And again, that was a very impressive performance out of Maru, at least initially. Like, he was just so in the face of Serral. He was doing so much damage, going for constant drop play, dropping in the pocket, at the fourth, at the natural. It was crazy. But the Mutas did do so much more, killing an entire mineral line. And now I'm curious. What map are we loading into? I was going to say Oceanborn again, but no, it's going to be Site Delta from Maru. Let's go. I do like this. I do appreciate this map. Again, it is a map with very exposed bases. When we're talking about the 5th base location and the 6th base as well, we are very spread thin. And whoever has map control, whether it's the Zerg or the Terran, whoever has map control has a big advantage on this map. It can be so difficult defending these fringe bases, the north and the south. You're just spread so thin. And we've seen both Terrans and Zergs alike, and even Protoss alike, just pull players apart on this map. We'll see if we can get there. We'll see if we can get into the mid game, get into the late game. As we are loading in. Whew. Catching him in chat. I guess Maru has to build Ravens. I mean, Maru, he had a very impressive turret spread, if you remember. Like, he had a decent turret line, but yeah, there were just a couple of moments where Serral was able to just slip past the turrets and get into good positionings with those infestors. And here we go in the top left-hand corner. We have for ONSYDE Gaming, sorry, for Team ONSYDE, Maru. And in the bottom right, we have his opponent. We have for Team Basilisk, Serral. Here we go. A much more standard map here. We shouldn't be seeing any hyper greed or any kind of crazy play here as we have seen previously on Radisson Station. Here we should be seeing a much more standard opener, and Maru going for a Rax expand, doesn't go for the 2 Rax. Doesn't go for that low ground aggressive build that has been quite popular and Maru has adopted himself. Not this time. We're calming things down. Stream title, Poppy. Oh, stream title. Catching up in the chat. Maru Giga Hydrated. That was a big bottle. That bottle was as big as Maru. That's crazy. It's drinking your entire body weight in water. The hydration. If you want to be like Maru, remember to hydrate your hydrants. Remember. Massage your marines. Let's go. As Maru is getting a CC on the low ground. Again, standard openers so far. Nothing too wild here from our players. And yeah, we're just easing our way into this. Again, not really expecting anything too out of the norm, at least in the early game from either one of our players. Serral, again, he's been going for these very secure builds. Even if he scouts a 3cc opener, like a 3 racks before Starport, I wouldn't be surprised if Serral still goes for a lair first into a Bailey Nest, just to be safe. Just to settle into the mid game. As the first Reaper has arrived, is going to be threatening the mineral line, but the Lings are in position. Queen is on the way, and with good enough control, we shouldn't really lose anything here. Lings are forced back. Reaper gains a bit of ground, but the Queen comes out just in time, and Maru has to back off. Does have to back off in the end. Ooh. And oh my god, okay. Interesting decision here. Maru is not going for a 3cc before Starport. He's going for a 111. Okay. Alright, Maru. I see you. My eyes are on Maru here. So a very aggressive build. We do have the Tech Lab on the way on that Rax. We are poised for an add-on swap. So it's looking like a Banshee opener here out of Maru. I'm curious if we are going to commit to the add-on swap or if we go for a Viking instead. So far, Lings, they do rush on in, but we do not get a scout. We barely get eyes on the factory at least, but we don't see the racks or the starport. Serral is in the dark. He doesn't see, he doesn't know, and there it is. There's the add-on swap. We are going for Cloak Banshees. So Maru, he's delaying his third base by quite a lot here. He's delaying his third base by a lot. This needs to get damage done. This needs to kill workers, otherwise he's going to fall behind. Serral is slipping in with the Overlord, and he will see everything in the main. Marine is in position, but the starport hasn't spotted. He's checking, and he will confirm the cloak being researched. At the same time, Maru, oh my god, takes a big chance. Takes a leap of faith, but alas, Lings are in position. Maru, he gets shut down. This is brutal. This is actually a really big blow. Typically, losing Hellions isn't a big deal, but specifically because the third base is delayed, we need these Hellions to deal damage. We need to get into the economy or keep Serral busy, keeps attention while the Banshees wreak havoc. And yeah, Maru, he loses his map control, loses his Hellions. Third CC is on the way, so it's not a 2-base all-in. But yeah, Serral, he's just becoming more and more free to just drone, essentially. Doesn't have to invest too much into Lings, can take a fourth base, and can drone to his heart's content. Do have a lair on the way alongside a Bailey Nest. This makes a lot more sense. It's a very stable and secure opener here out of Serral. Going to be delaying his 1-1 upgrades. Getting into faster Bailings. Banshee is going to come in, and again, the Banshee's got a lot of work to do. We got one drone kill so far. Outside of that, Serral, he does deflect that Banshee. We still have a couple of Hellions left. There's 3 Hellions, which can't really threaten too much. We have additional Raxes on the way. That's going to be a 5-rack setup. On 3 bases is pretty standard. Now, based on the openers, based on Maru's lack of damage, I wouldn't be surprised if from here Maru takes his third and then he throws down 3 more Raxes and goes for an 8-rax. I feel like an 8-rax would make a lot of sense. Either that or we turtle instead. We'll see. We'll see where Maru takes us. And how aggressive he plans on being. As again, for now, just a 5-rack setup. Everything's looking as it should. Overseer is going to confirm this. Comes in, gets eyes on all the Raxes. Gets eyes on everything that Maru is up to. This Maru is just getting his third base saturated. And we'll try to keep an eye on that production tab. Again, if you see 3 more Raxes thrown down, I mean, that's a green light. That's obviously a tail of an 8 Rax. So we'll see. We'll see if he does throw down additional Raxes or if he throws down additional gases. That'll be indicative of a second factory and a 4th CC. As we have that double drop towards the south. Armory is on the way for 2-2. So far, Maru being as active as he can here on the map. Clearing up as much creep as possible. And just trying to keep Serral on us. Serral behind this is now getting into his 1-1 upgrades into double Evo chamber. So, Maru is going to be ahead in upgrades just because Serral was being safe. So he does have that advantage going for him. He'll have a faster 2-2. Meanwhile, Serral again is going Lingbane Hydra. Getting into those Hydras. As Maru, he is pushing, he's committing here, sending out his tanks. And so far, unscouted the tanks, they're going to be able to siege up. Serral not quite ready for this, but he does have Lingbanes ready for a surround. So far, getting ready to just come in from multiple angles. Queens are trying to spread creep. Maru, he just dives onto creep, but he doesn't have much to protect his tanks. He does have a couple of Hellbats here behind this. Good positioning. There is a 4th CC and a second factory. Maru is working up towards a longer game. But he still has to be very wary of a surround. And so he's preparing to collapse on this army. And so far, Maru, he's doing well for himself, but reinforcements, they've still not made it. And here we go, Serral, he pulls the trigger. He comes in for a full surround. He collapses on the tanks. The reinforcements, they get here too late. They arrive a little bit too late here, and the tanks do go down. Only one survives. Maru can keep this going, but with only one tank, he has to be very careful. If he loses this, then he will lose map control, and his third base is going to be exposed. I mean, it's already exposed. Serral is threatening a counterattack. We are going to be denying some mining time here. We dive on top of the Queens. Oof. Didn't quite get them. Serral, he was hoping he would catch some reinforcements, but he's coming back around. That Banshee's still alive from the early game. Another tank, unfortunate time to siege. The tank goes down. A big loss there for Maru as he drops into the main base. Oh, full medevac goes down as well. Ay, ay, ay. And Serral, he's up to 80 workers. He can now focus on Lingbane Hydra production. There's still a lot of pressure on Maru. He needs to get damage done. His army is unscouted. He does get on top of a hatchery. Oh, the Lings, they trickle in. Maru will be able to trade well. Gets a kill on the hatchery. Ah, he's going to be losing a tank again. Both oh my god. The tank count reset for a second time. You don't want to be a tank in Maru's army. Not like this. He has one tank left on the high ground. Behind this, he's got his 4th base up running. 5th CC is on the way. Like, Maru, he's fighting on a knife's edge right now. If he ever trades too poorly, and his last tank is going to go down again. If he ever trades too poorly, he's going to trigger a counterattack, and Maru is not set up defensively. His tank count is at 0, essentially. As he's getting into drilling claws. Getting out of tanks into mines instead. And Serral is maxed. He's reaching his final form. Widow mines, they do arrive in time. Maru pushing out once again. The creep here is lacking because of how aggressive Maru has been. There's very limited creep available here towards the south and even towards the north as well. Oh, medevac goes down. Maru trying to keep this going, trying to keep this pushing. Lurker gen on the way, but we're not there yet. Lunkers would completely shut down this army of Maru without goes, without tanks or libs. Maru has to be careful. Oh. As Serral still hasn't been able to push out yet. He may be maxed, but he's maxed with a Lair Tech army. So he's been stuck at home. We go for a Doom Drop into the main. Oh my god. Maru risking quite a lot here going for this Doom Drop, and he's losing Metamax. Oh, Metamax, yeah, they're going down one after another. Big loss here for Maru. This was not quite worth it. Trading with the Ling Bane. Does deny a hatchery. Maru still being so active. Again, very Beyond-esque. So we force some friendly fire. But again, basically, if Maru does take a bad trade, then Serral, he can counterattack and he can wreak havoc across the map. Still not quite there yet. Lurker gen is done. Lurker upgrades are on the way. As the 7th, but Jesus. As a 6th CC on the way here from Maru. Again, he's been getting away with so much of the mines. Oof. But here we go. Finally, Serral, he can go for a counterattack. He misses the fresh base, but he goes straight for the planetary. And there's nothing here. Yeah, the base is going to fall. Big connection with the Baneling. If Serral, if he knew about the 5th base, then he would also go for that as well, but he hasn't scouted. He doesn't know. That was a good moment for Serral. Could have been better. Could have gotten more, I should say. He still maintains map control. Here comes the army. We do have a couple of lurkers towards the right-hand side. That is the main base floating over as another base. Another CC. Oh, the mines! Mine shot's going to be going off. Serral is out of position. Again, this is the difficult thing about side delta is your bases are spread so thin. Your army is spread so thin, trying to defend all these bases. But the Lunkers, they're going for a counterattack. Oof. 5 workers do go down. Maru just throwing down more CCs, more orbitals. Serral still doesn't know. If he did, I'm sure he would have done something about it. Would have been on top of it. But it is in the dark. Some more bases are being taken. Serral still mainly stuck at home. As now we're going for a counterattack. There's no planetary. No. SCVs are going to go down. At the same time, we have Lunker harassed towards the north. They shouldn't really get too much done. As the Ling Bane rolls in towards that 5th base. Alas, we can't quite touch it. Not anymore. Do we have any Vipers? I don't think we have any Vipers yet. Alas, we catch some of those ghosts. Oh my god! A lot of ghosts go down. Big Baneling connections. And Serral just continuing to go for these split pushes, going for the would-be planetary once again. Gets 3 SCV, more lurkers are in production. As we're getting into Lunker play, we have Ghosts and Liberators to respond. So Maru, he's got a decent army here to deal with this. Does have a decent army. Serral just waiting for his 3/3 upgrades. Still waiting on that max out as well. And finally he's going to be pushing here, but only with part of an army. He runs into Liberators. He's going for a split push. And it's now going to be Maru's turn to be caught out of position, to be spread too thin. There's no saving this planetary. And we could potentially keep pushing. Planetary does go down. 10 SCVs as well. We're going to be pulling back. And they're keeping one lunker in position. Behind this Maru, he threw down 3 more starports, and we're going for a fusion core as well. This should be for Liberator range. I don't see us going into BCs anytime soon. Oh no, they're back! The Infestors are back! Not like this! We've seen this before! Oh no. Look away, Papi, look away. Not the Fungals, not again. But there is that one hero Infestor lying in wait, waiting for the Fungal growths. Waiting to dive on those ghosts. As Maru, he's trying to threaten that southern base. Serral is in position. Off the bite. Couldn't be baited out. Serral's going to keep pushing, but we have plenty of Marauders here towards the south, so yeah, Serral can't really gain too much ground here. There we go. +1 ship weapons on the way. Liberator production. That's a lot of lives. That's a lot of freedom. Serral still has a bank to work with. That's 4k gas in the bank. Jesus. And he's pushing right through the center. Completely unscouted, unawares here as we go straight for the natural. The SCVs! We catch the mid-transfer. We go straight for the main base. Maru caught completely off guard. Sometimes we just need to send it. Just send it right down the center, right down the middle. The lurkers! Getting damage done. Serral going to be harassing towards the north. 3 lurkers do go down, but Serral is in the main base. Getting on top of the tech labs. Borrowed lings all over the place as well. And Maru is being pulled apart. Down goes that planetary. The lings looking to deny Neo steel frames. Getting on top of that eBay. And they won't quite get it in the end. They're going to be cleaned up. As Serral rotates towards the south. A planetary, I think it's not quite done yet. Okay, just now finishing up. The Bailings. They crash into the mineral line, and I think that's going to be another kill on this CC. The sensor tower as well. And they both have comparable army sizes. This is true. Actually, Maru, he has a super maxed army because he's down in workers. So Maru doesn't really have the largest bank. If he takes a bad fight, if he loses too much of his army, then he won't be able to replace it. Staying on a low 50 worker count instead. Here we go, the Infestor getting ready. Uh-oh. It's gonna happen again, isn't it? The Infestor ready behind the army here of Maru, looking for the Fungal. We're diving in. There it is, big Fungal here on the Ghost once again. The Bailings, they crash on forward. The Ghosts, they do survive. They sip away. This time the Fungal was not good enough. And Maru will hold. The freedom, Papi. The freedom does stand strong, and Maru will take this base. Serral is remaxing, but he has to give up this hatchery. I mentioned before, Serral, he can remax. Maru cannot. As that is the bank of Maru gone at this point. It's one and done. He's all in with this army. He has to end the game with this push. That's a lot of libs. That is so much freedom. My god. That's insane. Maru, he's pulling this off. He's broken. This southern base is getting another hatchery as well. He's actually turning back around. He's going to be losing the momentum that he just got. He turns back around to defend against this Ling run by. Again, we have an orbital, not a planetary. The Metamax! The Metamax do get caught out. 3, 4 Metamax. Oh my god, a big blow to Maru. The Observer really wanted to show off that Infestor, but the Metavacs were caught out. And Maru, he doesn't have a bank. He doesn't have the resources to rebuild. Any loss here hurts. And Maru has remaxed himself. He's taking the center bases. Double expanding. Now, pushing into all of these Liberators is going to be very difficult. But Serral is going for it. He's going to collapse on some of the Marauders and some of the Marines. Getting some decent trades. Big power bombs here on the Libs as well. Now, what's important is that Serral did bleed out a lot of Ling Bane. This is true, but he killed, what, I think two Libs. Got some Marauders, got 12 SCVs, and Serral can remax. It's the name of the game. A battle of attrition. Serral just has to whittle away at the army. He has a couple of... Oh, the scan reveals one Infestor. Big pickoff. Infestor goes down. See Maru rotating towards the north, catching some of these lunkers. Ling Bane is rolling it, but the freedom is here. We have too much freedom. Center base is going to be going down. Serral is slowly burning through his bank. He once had a 5k gas bank, now he's down to 2. So Maru's been trading very efficiently. Oof. Speaking of, big mine shot. Mine shot's going to be going off. Some of the reinforcements do get caught out. Do get caught out in the end. Now, I would say that things are actually pretty even at this point. The banks are looking, I would say, obviously in favor of Serral, but I mean, Maru has a more efficient army anyway. His bank doesn't have to be as large as the Zerg's. Here we go, once again, pushing towards the south. Oh my god, that's a very heavily oversaturated expansion. Mine shot's going to be going off. Hatchery is going to be going down. I would love to see Maru take these bases. I think he can, and I don't think Serral can stop him. Especially if he gets planetaries up and running. But we'll see. But now Serral just trying to keep Maru's attention back at home. His army rotating towards the north. Meanwhile, Serral comes in from the south. There is a planetary, but it should go down. There are the SCVs. The mineral line is exposed, and as Maru pushes out, we trade a base for a base. 14 SCVs. Serral will lose that center hatchery. Oh my god, the liberation zones. Jesus, there's just so many of them. And Maru, he's just cutting Serral off from those northern bases. Serral, he just can't engage. He's going to lose 2 hatcheries for free. Oh my god. A big move here from Maru. Massive, actually. Just cementing this position, cutting Serral off completely. And he can't do anything. Like, these bases are just going to go down. He's going to try and go for a surround. Here we go. From multiple angles. Collapsing on this army. Can he pull this off? Big EMPs on the Vipers. Aliens, they do crash in. But the Ghosts survive. That was not the best trade for Serral at all. Both players are hurting. Serral trying to remax as quickly as he can. But Maru, he's going for those northern bases. That's a kill, not a cancel. And Serral has lost his bank. I mentioned before that he's been burning through his gas. 0 gas left for Serral. And Maru, he's doing it. He has done it. He's getting into his ideal composition. Ghost Lib. Just out-positioning Serral one too many times. Really, this was it. This was the kill move. Just cutting Serral off from all of these hatcheries. Getting so many drones, every single worker is going to be going down. And Maru's done it. He's maxed. And Serral, he's at death's door. He's trying to get some kind of bases up here towards the south. He's trying to get an economy. It was a back and forth. For a long time, Serral had map control. This is true. For a long time, Maru was on the back foot. And then everything changed when freedom arrived. Oh my god. The whole of the liberation. Here we go. As Serral is going to be rotating over towards the north. He wants to try to push into this planetary. Good EMPs. Avoids the fungal. EMPs once again connecting with some of those Vipers as well. And here come the libs. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Maru will take down Serral here on site Delta. Snowballing out of control. Stay hydrated, everyone. GG, well played. Oh my god. And ONSYDE will once again take down Team Basilisk. Once again, just like what we saw last season in WTL Summer, it happens again here in WTL Winter as well. Very well fought here by both teams, ONSYDE and Basilisk. We do not get an ace match, but strong games nonetheless here again. Serral had his own moments in that map, had his own moments there, taking control of the bases or taking control of the map itself. But yeah, he was one step behind. Something that was interesting, even though we were getting into Liberator Ghosts, we never saw a transition into more of a Corruptor-based army. The Hydras are having a very hard time dealing with the Liberators. They were just being bullied away, bullied back. Serral never really had an answer for that. He never threw down a Spire, which was maybe a little bit overconfident from Serral. Maybe a little bit, yeah, just never taking that direction, never having an answer to them. And with that, that's our day one in the books. Day two is going to be coming up in a couple of days. Mandarino Esports versus Starlight Twinkle and Mystery Gaming versus Psystorm Gaming. That's going to be on Friday, later on in the week. GG. GG, well played. Hope everyone enjoyed themselves. Hope everyone had a great time tonight. We had some amazing matches. Step on us. Ay. Este Honkai Star. Big shout out to the sponsors of WTL, and I hope everyone in the chat had a great time as well. Again, great matches were had in both series, honestly. Like we had some amazing performances. I know that some, like, we may not have had ace matches in either of these series, but amazing games nonetheless. Really worth checking out. If you missed out on Platinum Heroes versus Shopify, I highly recommend watching it. Amazing games were had, an amazing time, and GG, well played. With that, we're going to be wrapping up tonight. If you guys enjoyed the broadcast, socials in the chat, where you can, of course, have a look at our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. We have a Discord server as well. All things CranKy Ducklings. Oh boy. And with that, our next broadcast should be tomorrow. Let me just double check the calendar. I believe tomorrow we're going to be live with GSL. No, not GSL. Kung Fu Cup. GSL is on Thursday? Friday? Next week. Okay. We have a GSL replay cast next week. Tomorrow we are going to be live with Kung Fu Cup in less than 24 hours. So if you're craving some KFC, wait for tomorrow. Wait for tomorrow so you can get your Korean fried chicken or your Kentucky fried chicken, whatever you happen to have on brand, right in time for Kung Fu Cup. Kung Fu Cup tomorrow. So enjoy. Outside of that, thanks for everyone watching. Thanks for the support. Shout out to Kuro. Kuro has been handling, the production behind the scenes. We apologize for the stream going down earlier, but thankfully it only went down for a minute or so. I think it was in the middle of Scarlet versus Goblin, if I remember correctly, on Equilibrium, or maybe another game. Regardless, hope you all enjoyed. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some Kung Fu Cup. Until then, thanks for watching, everyone. Hasta luego. Bye. Hasta luego.